Hi, everyone. You're welcome on board. If you're right here, right now, that means you're serious about your life and getting scholarship and remote job. I would like to say a very big thank you for joining us this early. And if you have friends that you think that are supposed to be here and are not here right now, please do share the Zoom link to them. And because we'll be having a great time this morning with Victor Abegunde and Stevie Alagbe. So I want you all to prepare your mind, get your writing pad and pen ready. And I know you learn something good this morning, and not just about good, but something that will change your life forever. Welcome on board. Welcome on board. If you're happy to be here, I want you to put it in the chats and signify wave. Give me a wave. Okay. So as we await our facilitator, I want you all to get ready. So we'll wait a little bit, get your friends on board, get everyone that needs to be on board on board. Okay. Okay, the number is increasing, about 11 participants on board. I expect us to be more than this. Please do share to friends, share to people you know this will be of great value to, please. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, please do share. Okay, today we are going to be talking about remote job and getting remote job. How easy has it been so far? And if you've tried getting a remote job and it has proved abortive, can you signify in the chat box? If you have been trying to get scholarship online and it's been so difficult, you can signify also. And what has been your experience so far getting jobs online? Is it worth it? Is it worth the time trying to get job online, getting paid in dollars? You know, a lot don't think as a Nigerian you can get dollars, you can get paid in dollars. All this you are going to be enjoying this morning. And getting scholarship as well. How has it been? What has been your experience? Are you tired of even applying for scholarship? Because every one you try to apply for prove expensive. So everything Bro Victor and Bro Stephen will be sharing with us this morning, all they've gotten so far about scholarship, their experiences, how they've been successful with it. So we'll have them on board. So getting scholarship will start soon. We'll start with getting scholarship. And okay, we'll start with getting scholarship. Okay, we'll start with getting scholarship online. And also, later on, we'll talk about getting remote jobs too. So at about, in the next 2 minutes, our facilitator will come on board. That's Bro Victor. Okay, I think the number of participants is increasing. Please do share. A lot are supposed to be here right now. Share, invite friends, please. Okay. All right. So I can see some few members of the church. Please share with friends, share with friends. A lot of people need to hear this. And I won't want anybody to miss out on this useful. I don't want anybody to miss out on this useful information. So please get people on board. Get people on board. A lot of people must not miss out because it's going to be worthwhile this morning. So I hope we are already sharing it. Thank you. Please do share. Do share. So as we expect our facilitator, Victor. So there's going to be an intro video right now about who Victor is. So please do watch and enjoy. Thank you. Over to you.
Victor Abegunde is a doctoral fellow of the World Academy of Science and the National Research Foundation of South Africa. He is an expert in agricultural and development economics. He has researched and published extensively on climate change, resource management, and agricultural sustainability. He has presented at several international conferences and workshops on climate-smart agriculture and food security in Africa. His areas of research interest include economics of climate change, resource management and agricultural sustainability, economic reform and policy development, economic growth and greening nexus, and impact evaluation of development programs. He has won different awards and grants. He won a grant from the European Union to present at the International Climate Change Adaptation Conference in 2018. He has consulted for many organizations and is a member of several professional associations and research networks. He serves as a reviewer for many learned journals. He has been a contributor to policy reforms on climate smartness in the agricultural space through different platforms in Africa.
Good morning. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you for the introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining from. You're welcome on board. We will be looking at how to apply for scholarships, how to get scholarships, and how to secure funding for research and all that. The subject has, of course, become popular these days, particularly among young minds, and of course, that makes sense. The rate at which youth are migrating, is high. The rate at which, you still want to migrate, the rate is high. And, academics seem to be the major route many is exploring. So it makes sense to see that as a very important subject to look at. And not only that, when you compare the level of access to information these days, with like 5-10 years ago, you see that there's a huge difference, very huge difference. So, it's something that is really, really like a hot cake and hot issue to look at among young minds. Now, however, there's some things that access to information won't do for us. As a matter of fact, access to abundance of information comes with its own challenges. So it's very important that we understand what needs to be done and how to go about it. We need to acknowledge that applying for scholarship is work and it should be taken as such. You can get excited about it and you forget the work that is there, and eventually it becomes overwhelming and it looks like I'm losing out and all that. So some of the issues I'll be talking about may appear very basic, but they are very, very important. That's why I decided that rather than looking at, just some bogus issues or very complex issues, let's look at those simple things we can easily overlook, but they are very, very critical and very, very important to a successful effort in applying for scholarship. The first thing I would want to talk about will be the need to give yourself enough time to prepare your application. I understand there are many opportunities out there flying around. You see several links, several calls, posted on group pages. You see several opportunities posted on different platforms, Twitter handles, and the likes. Now, that can be very exciting. But the challenge with that is it can also be very pressurizing. You can start jumping from one application to the other without carefully, putting together a quality effort for your application. Am I saying it is wrong to venture into multiple applications? No, that's not the point I'm making. But it is very, very important to be very strategic with your application. So don't just, jump at opportunities because they are just coming like that, and you forget to take sufficient strategic approach, in throwing out your applications out there. So remember, you are competing against tons and tons of other applicants. For example, there was an application I made at the time, and I was surprised when I saw the number of applications that were turned in eventually. When I saw the number of applications, to be honest, I was shocked. Yes, my application was able to sail through, but my excitement eventually was not about the success of the application. But when I consider how many people I competed against, of course, I felt okay. Thank God this thing sailed through. So you are competing against tons and tons of different applicants. So you can't just, apply anyhow. You have to give yourself enough time to prepare your application. Right? I know we talk about being able to work under pressure and still being efficient and all that, but it is better to reduce your pressure as much as you can. And the best way to do that, would be to give yourself ample time to prepare. Thankfully, many of these scholarships are in diet, right? They are in cycles. Some are projects or programs by different organizations that span over years. Some have been there for a long time. Some are school-based. You can take your time to review them, review those opportunities, understand how they work. You can then plan on how to, work around the schedule or deadlines while applying. Now, if you can't meet up with one call or with one opening, there's nothing bad in waiting for the next call. And that time you're using to wait, you can use it to review and prepare properly and adequately. The temptation would be to, to start looking for another scholarship opportunity that is around the corner. Now, which most likely will give you another short window to prepare, and you rush to put in your application under pressure again and again, and the cycle continues like that. Before you know it, the one that just got closed, another round or another call has come, and it's around the corner again. Then you are under another pressure again. So that's one of the challenges that we face, putting ourselves under pressures and not planning well, to throw in our application. Another thing I want to raise is that beyond giving yourself enough time to prepare your application, take time, or before you even do that, take time to read and understand the application instructions. Now, I know that sounds very obvious. I have to do that, I know, but you don't want to drop your chances by accidentally missing out a document or a piece of information that is very, very important, which, by the time you get to know about it, it's already late, or you don't even get to know about it at all. So be sure to read the application guidance carefully. By that, you are less likely to miss anything. So that will help. By the time you're preparing your application, you know that you are doing the right thing. And if there are areas where you need clarifications, you can email the scholarship providers. That's allowed. There are also organizations that provide information of the beneficiaries or scholars. You can contact them for clarifications, or guidance. That also helps. Some applications will require you to write essays, statement of purpose, proposals, and all that. Please take quality time to prepare quality write-ups. That's my point at this moment. Please take quality time to prepare quality write-ups. There are other documents that you also need depending on the scholarship opportunity you're applying for. You need documents like transcripts, reference letters or letters of recommendation, motivation letters, test scores. You may need to write tests like GRE, English proficiency tests, like TOEFL, like IELTS. So please determine which document you need early and make a schedule with all key dates and deadlines so you don't feel stressed or you're not overwhelmed with your application. I would also want to add this. It looks simple, but it helps a lot. Plan to submit your application a few days before it's due. Now, how does that help? That way, in case you run into any type of problem or in case you have missed anything, you have time to fix that. By the time you're submitting, you will see that probably you have missed something or there's a problem. So you have some time to be able to fix that. That helps a lot. Now, having made that point, that leads me to my second point, which is the need to carefully avoid this one-size-fits-all approach or one-cap-fits-all approach. You know what I mean? For example, there's an essay or a write-up you used for an application, and you get to see another call. So you just do some copy and paste, or you quickly do a little tweak, and you throw it to the other one, and to another application and to another application like that. Right? The pressure that comes with trying to apply for many scholarship opportunities and also having little window to prepare or not having enough time to prepare can actually cause that. But it is important to try to avoid that as much as you can. Now, I'm not saying that you get to throw away your write-ups and essays that you have used in your past applications. For example, write-ups about your experience, your leadership qualities, the impact you have made, your career goals. They don't get to become trash. They remain relevant. Okay, they still come in handy. But while visiting them, ensure that what you're doing is actually sound extraction and thorough modifications as the case may warrant, and not just copy and pasting. Why is that important? Why do we really need to put that in mind? All scholarship providers have their primary objectives, and the best practice would be to try as much as possible to be genuine with them, with those objectives, and respond to the specific scholarship requirements. Let's take, for example, Commonwealth Scholarship. What they stand for is to contribute to the development of Commonwealth countries, okay? And when you check through, you discover that they have development teams, and those things revolve around the sustainable development goals. So when you are building your write-ups, you really need to put that into consideration. There are other scholarships like Erasmus Mundus, like TWAS, like there are even those ones that are school-based, they all have their objectives, and it's the objective that define their requirements, which of course they expect would shaping the structure of the applications they will be receiving. So it is very important to take good note of that. Now, beyond understanding their objectives, it will be of great help to also figure out in which of the scholarship opportunities do you have a comparative advantage. Yeah, I understand it is good to cast your bread upon many waters. That's what the Bible says, yes. That speaks to, putting in multiple efforts that will increase your chances. But at the same time, if we remember, Jesus talked about which one of you want to build a tower, if you remember, in Luke, and will not first sit down and estimate the cost and see, yes, do I have enough money to complete it? That speaks to being strategic enough to evaluate before starting. So beyond reviewing the requirement, it is important to really look into which of the scholarship opportunities do I have a comparative advantage. Let's take, for example, a scholarship for engineering students or a scholarship for engineering students from developing countries, and you happen to come from a developing country. You see that one, has been narrowed down, and since you are from a developing country, you stand a better chance. There are some scholarship opportunities that will say they're encouraging women or females to apply. So it's very, very, very important to not just apply, look at those opportunities, review them, and compare where do I stand a better chance, in which one do I have a leverage or a comparative advantage. Sometimes it's not that the application is bad, it's not our effort that is bad. The problem is that we are competing in a wrong space. So we may want to try as much as possible, to avoid that. It's very good to, to be courageous, to take up challenges, but it's also very important to be very strategic when it comes to putting in your effort. Now, I also want to talk about the power of storytelling. Now, this is very, very crucial. Remember, you are competing in a very large space. There are many people that are also going for what you are going for. So with that in mind, it is very important to stand out from the pool of applicants. And your weapon here is your story. How do you build your story? How do you tell your story? You really, really need to go all out. Yeah, humility is a virtue, we must put on, particularly as believers. I understand that. And I understand that there are parts of the world, for example, like ours, Nigeria, we are raised to, tone down, play it low, stay humble. Yeah, that's cool. We need to be humble. But when it comes to, telling your story, building your write-ups for scholarship applications, please go all out. Don't play it cool. In fact, that's the time you need to okay. I know you understand what I mean by that. That's the time you need to speak out. Go all out. I'm not saying you should say what you're not, but don't play cool with what you are. You need to demonstrate what is special about you that will make you stand out. And it doesn't have to be something big for it to make you special. Now, the common mistake we can make is to think that it has to be something big, something extra, to make us, special, to make us stand out. No, it doesn't have to be like that. The little things you have, the little story you have, you can build it in a way that will make you stand out. If you remember Jesus' word, he talked about no one, will light a lamp and will put it under the bushel. I want you to see this way, that, what makes you stand out is your lamp. And telling your story is actually your effort to see that the lamp is not hidden. And so that those who come into the room, which are the scholarship providers, will be able to see your light. And you can say that I don't have anything that I can really leverage on to make me stand out. Honestly, I don't believe you. I don't believe that. It's either of two things. It's either you have not figured it out, one, or you keep telling yourself, no, it can't be it. It's too small. It's not significant, to make me stand out. I can't build my story on this. Now, before I continue, let me cite an example. Let me cite a practical example. It's very simple, but it will help us to relate with what I'm saying. Let's say you're the best in your class. That's exciting, right? You're the best in your class. That's exciting. That's easy to report. Yes, I'm the best in my class. But let's say you came second. Well, it's relatively easy to also relate with, to report, excuse me. But someone can say I was the second best, and another person can say I fall into the top two category of my class. Now, two people are saying the same thing in two different ways. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. Now, but it's become clearer now when, let's say, when you are ranked as the fifth in your class. Now, it may not be easy to say, to build your laptop and say, yes, I came fifth in my class. At times we have some friction, putting that kind of a thing down. But will it be fair to just, push aside somebody that has been ranked fifth out of a class of 100, and we start hailing somebody that came second out of a class of 20? Now, well, we can say that the breakdown of their grades, we do justice to that, we speak to that. But before the breakdown, when they are telling their story, something might be lost. But someone who came fifth can say, yes, I fall into the top 5% category. I belong to the top 5% of my class. So that's a way of telling your story, and you're bringing something out to drive, your story and make you stand out. So you just need to know how to tell your story so that you can be able to nail home your point. Other point I will raise is that you need to know how to demonstrate your commitment to better yourself. You need to know how to highlight your strength, your qualities, talk about the impact you have made. These are very crucial when, building your stories, building your write-ups for scholarship applications. Some extracurricular activities can come in handy here. Demonstrate your passions, your interests outside the classroom. Examples of times you've been involved, with the local community, perhaps by taking part in volunteer work for a good cause and all that, volunteering with NGOs, different organizations, even activities that you have carried out yourself that are of impact can come in handy here. Now, there are some activities that we get involved in that we can take for granted. Let's say, for example, some that come from a religious platform. Let me set an example. I at the time I volunteered for a mission agency. After class, I will go to the offices, I'll work with them, of course, and they are involved in outreaches. And because personally, I believe in mission and all that, so they will go for outreaches, I'll go with them. Yeah, but how do you tell that story? We'll not be writing that we are going for evangelism. How will they relate with that? That may be the question in your mind. But this particular mission agency I'm talking about, when they go for outreaches, one of the things they do is distribute welfare materials. They actually focus on rural areas, distribute welfare materials, attend to the medical needs of those rural dwellers. There are times they get involved in skill empowerment programs. They have built schools, they have built hospitals. These are works they do. Does that speak to poverty alleviation? Does that speak to skill empowerment? Does that speak to community development? That's a way to look at, to look at it, to consider it. So you can bring a story from there. I know it's easy to talk about our volunteering with NGOs, with other organizations like that, but we find it difficult to bring something out from the experiences, the impact we have made through religious platforms, but we can do that. So it's about, storytelling, the power of our storytelling. Leadership skills are actually highly valued by scholarship providers. I need to talk about that. So you can demonstrate this by volunteering to lead projects, activities where you have been involved in leadership. So those things can really help. So when building your story, when building your write-ups, please pay attention to leadership qualities and volunteering, impact, that you have made. Also talk about your academic qualities. Now, I deliberately put this at the rear in talking about the power of storytelling. And why is that? It's because why I did that is because it's very easy to lean on and focus more on good grades. Now, please try as much as possible to get good grades if you are still building it. If you have built it, you have a very good grade, very good. But many times, good grades can make us grow a sense of entitlement. you would have heard stories like, but that guy finished with 2-1. That lady finished 2-1, and I mean, and she nailed it. He nailed it. But this guy finished with first class and he couldn't get it. There are times that, we get so entitled because we have good grades and we forget to build other areas. And many of these scholarship providers, what they deal with is actually they use weighted average. So it may be that the good grades is only carrying a proportion, let's say maybe like 30%. Your leadership qualities taking like 30%. What about letters of recommendation or references? Also, those ones to have their proportion. The impact you have made, they have their proportion. So don't just lean on your good grades. Please try as much as possible to get good grades. It gives you a leverage. It gives you a comparative advantage, but don't allow that to give you a sense of entitlement and you now relax and you don't build other areas where you need to build. And if you feel maybe I have 2-1 or something, is my grade enough? There are scholarships you can consider and look at their requirements, areas where you can build. In fact, personally, from my experience, I've seen that most people that nail many of these scholarship opportunities are those that maybe while they were looking for a particular grade and they couldn't get, by the time they finished, they were very angry with the school system. And when they finish, they just, they are hitting it with that anger or that, I don't want to, it's not frustration, but that anger, they pour it into their efforts and you see them flying with it. So I think we really, really need to look into that. The next thing I'll talk about is the power of networking. Let me demystify that. Now, when we are talking about networking, we are basically talking about, relationships, building healthy relationships across board. A relationship with those ahead of you, relationship with those you are at par with, relationship with those people we can say, you are ahead of them. The other time we're talking about humility. Now, this is where humility comes in handy. This is where you really, really need to, embrace that virtue in relating with other people, because networking, building healthy relationship is very important to our progress in life. And of course, scholarship application is not left out. I'm sure that if you take time to think through, you will see that there are things you have enjoyed before and you only enjoy them because of relationships, because of people the first application we can look at, when we're talking about the importance of this networking and building healthy relationship across board, is getting letters of recommendation. I talked about the importance of letters of recommendation the other time. Getting letters of recommendation from your supervisors, your professors, your lecturers, or wherever you need it from. Trust me, they don't call it letters of recommendations for nothing. It carries a lot of weight. And you can't just approach anybody to, obtain letters of recommendations from them. It has to be someone you have a good relationship with, someone who will say something good about you, and it will not just be a generic statement like, yeah, he's a good boy, he's a good girl. No, someone will be able to say something outstanding about you and in line with your application. So when you're picking your references, you need those that will write letters of recommendation for you. You need to pick those who know you, who know your work. It is important that your references understand the scholarship criteria and can clearly see why you're a good candidate. So you need thoughtful recommendations, actually, which you can only get from someone you have a very good relationship with. You can consider, giving them a few bullet points with extra information to help them develop their letters. And some of these supervisors, professors, some of these lecturers, they're very busy. In fact, there's some that will tell you, okay, just go and write what you want me to write and send it to me. Then they'll sit down with it and now look at it and now do their work on it. But you can only enjoy that if you've built relationship with them over the years, because they don't have time. And so that's another thing. Because they are busy people, it's only relationships that can help you knock their door despite their busy schedule, and they will say, okay, come in. And I'm being figurative about knocking their door and telling you to come in, but I believe you understand what I mean. So networking is very important and to our progress. Not only that, networking also opens, door of opportunities. It gives us access to information, and clearly that's what social media is enhancing a lot these days. Now, I remember an experience I had at the time. I was reviewing someone's work for my thesis. So at a point, I was in the lab. I just felt like sending an email. Actually, the framework I was working with, she designed it for FAO. So I just wrote her an email, just permit me to use the word, just would hello, I'm Victor, I'm this, I'm working on this, and I've reviewed your work. I love your approach. Of course, I really, really love the approach. This and that. And please, if you don't mind, when I have questions, I want to get in touch with you. And if there are any opportunities within your network, please, I will appreciate if you can, let me in and all that. So I just sent a few lines, sent that email. I didn't get any response. But a few weeks after, I just saw an email. It was another address that, wrote me, and the email of the person was copied. So when I saw it, it was just a line. Hello, Victor. Thank you for getting in touch. Please apply for this. And the link was put there. So I applied. Of course, I opened, reviewed, read through. I saw it was a science forum. Oh, okay, fine. Let me apply. I applied and all that. Eventually, of course, there were documents we need to put in, things we need to write, what we need to do. I did all that. I sent in. Thankfully, I sailed through. I was called. It was when I got there, I saw what I got myself into. It was actually it was a big shot. I mean, I saw researchers that it was only in textbooks. I've seen their names before. So I'm not sure whether, if I was not sent that link, whether I will have that opportunity. I'm not sure. And for those in my category, we were only 7, and they called us early career scientists and or something. They just tagged us, and like it was more of a deliberation amongst them, and it was really a very, very, very big experience for me. In that, we had a small project again. I was able to win some things, and of course, some goodies came from it. So I'm just trying to cite that example for us to see the importance of reaching out, of networking. It's something very, very crucial we need to look into. Now, I've said quite some point. I've talked about, the importance of networking, the power of networking. I've talked about the power of, storytelling. I've talked about the need to avoid this one-size-fits-all approach. And I've talked about the need to give ourselves ample time, to apply, to ensure that we are not applying under pressure. We are not overwhelmed with our applications. Okay. Now, I'll be lying if I will say that everything will have to go smooth every time. There will be times of rejection. There will be times when your applications will be turned down. I remember there's this story I saw on Twitter that was very inspiring for me. It was a lady who was defending her thesis, and all her rejection letters, whether to go for a conference, whether to publish, all the no's she got, she printed them and used those papers to make a script. That sounds weird, right? But I think she was trying to make a point. She used it to make a sketch. It was so many that thing could cover her nakedness. You can imagine that. But in all that, those were the things that built the beauty of yes, I am done eventually. So there will be times of no. There's this lecturer of mine that would always tell me, Victor, she would say it in a local dialect. She would say, Ekoeleko. nearby Alagbe. Now, the closest interpretation I can give that is this popular proverb we know that says, one man's meat, is another man's poison. Now, but for the sake of the context of what we are talking about, I want to twist it and say one man's poison is another man's meat, actually. Now, when you write and they say no, the no is not for you. The no is actually for the work you sent. So you are not the one they are tagging no. The work is what they are tagging no. And why we really need to have that perspective is because there are two things that can come out of that. Number one is giving us an opportunity to try somewhere else, and it's also giving us an opportunity to improve on it. I submitted a work at a point, and it was rejected. So when it was rejected, I felt very bad. I felt very bad, to be honest. I felt very, very bad. So I just kept the work, and another opening came up. Of course, now it gave me an opportunity. I can't throw it there like I did with the former one. I did some improvement on it and I threw it. And now this time I put it in a platform. It's, in fact, to be honest, way bigger, compared to where I was turned down. And it was accepted. Really gave me a big platform that time. So the point I'm making is we really need to build, how do I put it, have a right mindset, have a correct perspective in handling rejection. So when they say no, of course, we really need to remind ourselves that yes, this is a no. One man's poison is another man's meat. And what is a poison at that time could even be a meat for them in the next round. So those are things I want to raise with us. Like I said earlier, they sound basic, but we really need to, consider them and factor them in when we are building our efforts in making our applications. Thank you.
So, thank you so much, Bro Victor. You've really exposed us to a lot of stuff about some scholarship. Okay, our next facilitator is coming up now. Okay, over to you, Bro Steven. Are you on?
Yes, I am. Good morning, everyone.
All right, good morning. You're welcome on board.
Stephen A. Alagbe is a blockchain enthusiast and social media manager at Cointelegraph. He is a polyglot and a results-focused individual with attention to detail and thoroughness. He has proven leadership skills and is endeared to all friends and acquaintances. As a global talent, he believes that talent is evenly distributed, but opportunities are not. And he is committed to helping as many people as possible find opportunities beyond the confines of their geographical boundaries.
Good morning, everyone.
You can't find him.
I'm happy.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm happy to be here with everyone to share some of those stuff I've learned over the years, and I'm also very impressed with what Mr. Joshua said. I appreciate you for that insight. Talking about leaving Nigeria and getting scholarships. It's one of the things I really wanted to do at the time, but sometimes I just shy away from it because of the fact that it comes with a whole lot of stress. But I'm happy that we could trash this out today and see, okay, and see how it goes. So I'll be talking about how to get remote, Okay, so I hope everyone can see me. All right. So I'll be talking about remote work and how it goes and everything that has to do with working online. I think that was 2 or 3 weeks ago, we started with talking about getting remote gigs as well. We talk about navigating the internet space and using it to one's advantage. So this morning, I will just continue my conversation from there. And also I will share my screen with you and then walk you through some of the processes and how it works from this end, getting remote gigs. I'm sorry, like I can't see everybody, so I just have to try as possible to make sure I communicate. So if I'm not communicating as well, you can actually reach out to me through the comment section, and then I can take it up. So I'll be sharing my screen, and then I will show you some. Please, the host, can you allow me to share my screen with others? All right, thank you. So I'll be sharing my screen, and then I will start from there. Okay, let's start with a slide. So I'm talking about the navigating the internet space, finding one's footing in a digital global community. Like I said all the time, we are in a global, small digital space, and everything right now is moving towards that ecosystem of the internet, whereby through the process of 9 to 5 work, before they can get stuff done, they can just sit in the comfort of their room, and then they can get job done effectively as someone that has to go to the office. So why it's actually very important and also interesting to go to the office as well. COVID-19 has showed us that it's not always the best way to work from the office. You can work from anywhere as long as you have the right attitude and you have the right materials and resources needed to function effectively at your work. So I used to say that I thank God for COVID-19 because it's opened people's mind to that good mind that has not been actually detected, working on it and how to access it. And it's also like a leverage, because right now moving stuff, they are really evolving into the 21st century and really getting into the tech space. So talking about the Africa digital skills, people really don't. When people talk about digital skills, most times it's talking about web development. You just have to be a developer, a software engineer, before you can make money as a developer. And you can look at this graph. It talks about the digital skills across Africa, and not just in tech, cutting across different skills, different sectors of the digital space. And we can see web development to social media, data science, and all other stuff. So if you look at this graph, you can see that it's only for web development. We have at least a higher percentage of people that are so much into it. And I bet you that people really know about software development. So sometimes I get tagged as a developer or as a programmer. That's what people think I do. Whereas in reality, that's not what I do. It's very different from what people think. So it shows you that people really talk about, when they talk about getting remote gigs, working online, people are also focused on the web development, the programming part of it, not the other parts of working as online. So I'm telling you that there are all other aspects and all other sectors of the digital space we can actually get into, not just with the tech alone. So we have a lot of space, a lot of sectors in the digital space that you can work with. You can work as a virtual assistant, a sales rep, a marketing team, social media manager, writer, photographer, transcriptionist, transcriber. It's just too much. So I'll get back into that as we proceed with this discussion. And you can see also this report says that some 230 million jobs across the continent. Sorry. I'm trying, okay. All right, no problem. No problem with that. I can do it from here because I have to also check some stuff online to open it. So thank you for that. Some 230 million jobs across the continent will require some level of digital skills by 2030, according to a study by the International Finance Corporation. So in some years now, we have 230 million jobs added to the digital space. So what are you waiting for? Why are you not getting involved right now? because I tell people that this is just like the preliminary stage of the internet space. We are not really at that point that we want to be with the internet. We're just starting. The internet space is just starting. So people that get in early have enough access, and by the time 5-10 years, you're moving up a lot, you are moving higher on the ladder, and people that are coming in would always be after you. So it's very, very important to get in early into the digital space. Like we said, that the internet is the fuel that allows you to drive around the internet space. So we all have the internet, but we all have the fuel, but we need the car, and the car is our skill, which is what we use to get to our destinations, our financial destinations. So while you have the internet, you have your phone, you have the data on it, you really need to also have the skill, which is very, very important, as well as the fuel, that is the internet, to get you to your desired destination. So most times people think that the money is there, and they think when we talk about working online, like the dollars are just hanging all around. Once you're connected to the internet to apply for jobs, bam, you get a job and you start making your hard-earned currency. It's in reality, that's not the case. You really need to have a skill, be dedicated to owning that skill and being the best in that field. I used to brag, not that I'm proud, but I used to brag that I am good at what I do. That when it comes to blockchain, cryptocurrency, and talking about simplifying content, add complex sentence and content down into simplified version so that people can understand, I am the best man for the job. I used to pride myself. I used to pride on that, like whatever it is, I can do it. Anything that has to do with content, breaking down complex content into simplified version so that people can understand it. That is my job. So I think over the years I've owned the skill, and then I understand it better right now to write and to be able to use my content, my creative skills to come. So that's one of my selling points. So, and I'm very, very good at what I do. So you really need to have a skill, a dedicated skill, and then which you own, before you can access, and then you can get all these kind of gigs online. So it's not like things that come so fast or so smooth like that. It has its own ups and own downs as well. Nothing comes easy, and I tell people that, like, a lot of times Nigerians, we like to learn like Nigerians. Nigerians are like to learn like Nigerians. We learn things the Nigerian way. We don't want to put in the hard work to get stuff done. We don't want to really focus our time to learning the basic and the fundamentals of whatever it is, whatever skill you want to learn. You just want to move from point A to point Z or point W, and you think that's how it works. No. For a programmer, I think you need like nine months for you to you have to dedicate 9 months of your time. That is 4 hours a day, 40 hours a week for 9 months before you can be a full-time developer, before you can even start with a junior developer role, junior position role in any company. And most times, Nigerians, just 4 weeks, just 1 month, 2 months, you call yourself a developer. How can you do that? It's not possible. Some people have to go to university. You spend 4 years to be a developer. But now that the internet has given us the space, you can be a self-taught developer. But it's not something that happens within just 1 month or 2 months. I did software programming for some time when I was in Kaduna, and we did a course school. It ran for 2 months, and after 2 months, they gave us a certification, and they told us we are developers. And I was like, this is not possible. How can you tell me I'm a developer? I just have to learn 2 months of basic HTML and collecting jobs, and they find out that they can't really perform well with their jobs. And then one thing happened when you do those kind of stuff, when you are not really, how do I put it? When you are not into that skill, when you don't really develop yourself in that skill, you find out that you can't really tap into those spaces. You can't get to those connections. You can't get to those places that you really want to get to. So you end up collecting 20,000 naira, 30,000 naira kind of gig. And if you want to be true to yourself, you know that deep inside of you, you are not really sure of yourself. You can't do some of those stuff. You can't even answer some of the questions they ask you. So the thing is that we have the basic and the fundamental knowledge of it that you have to understand and you have to learn as well. You just don't say, because this is a skill I want to learn, I have just dedicate just 1 hour or 2 hours, and then boom, I'm at it. You have to dedicate at least 6 or 9 months to learning that skill, and then by the time you are ready to apply for jobs. So we talk about the upside down theory that time. So I won't really go back to that. It's just about accessing people online and then knowing how to reach out to people to get jobs. So I'll also go back to my other slide and then I'll show you some of the stuffs I have on my screen here. Okay, so this is my LinkedIn page. I'll walk you through how it's run some LinkedIn because I believe in using LinkedIn to connect with people. We have a lot of other workspaces, a lot of work sites, platforms where you can access to get jobs done. There are a lot of platforms you can apply for jobs on. We have Upwork, we have Behance, we have a whole lot of, we have Glassdoor, we have Indoor, we have Jobberman, the one with Nigeria Air. So we have a whole lot of spaces whereby you can apply for jobs. But I think I love LinkedIn better. I've used Upwork for a number of times. I started my career using Upwork as a freelancer. And like I said, I moved away from the freelancing part to a full-time, full gig role in a very, very big company. And I decided to leave the freelancer role because I really wanted my career, my financial to have enough stability. I want my finances to have enough stability when you work as a freelancer. So there are two types of people that work that work online. We have the people that work as a freelancer, you know, they go online to all these job portals, they access it, they get the contract probably for a week or just for a one-time gig of probably 2 or 3 months gig. And after the job is done, they get paid and that's the end of the contract. And where we have some people that work full-time, that they work with real companies, just like the 9-to-5 kind of role, not just the physical one. So I started with the freelancing role as well. You know, I was working, getting jobs online, applying for jobs, sending proposals, and then getting gigs to work on. And that's how I started. But it wasn't really for me as I wanted it, because I was also making money then when I started. But like Yoruba would say, life, you know, big boy things. I was not really saving, and something keep happening whenever I have jobs to do. The days and seasons I have jobs to do, I have enough money to spend, blah blah blah. And once that season is over, so it's like there are two seasons. There is the dry season and the rainy season. As someone that is working on as a freelancer, so there are days you have enough jobs to do, and then you make more money, and there are days and months that you don't have any job, you don't have any. So we get caught up in finding ourselves in those dry seasons and we can't really sustain ourselves. And it was one of those stuff and that dry season can last for like 2-3 months, that you don't have any working jobs, that you keep sending proposals and people are not responding. People are not just ready to hire you at that point. So at the point I was just like, no, I really need to move from this space whereby my finances is based on the number of days I work, and if I'm getting jobs or not. So I really want to focus on me getting a full-time role that even though when I'm not working, I still get paid. Sometimes when I go for my vacation, I still get paid. When I have other things to do, probably when I'm sick or so for my time, not just as a freelancer that I have to work before I can get paid. So that's one of the reasons I have to move to the full-time role, leaving the freelancer part of it. And also, you know, I have to be able to manage my finances. I don't want to start my family based on speculations like this month, this is what I'll make, this next month, this is what I'm making. So I just want to make sure that my finances is all right. I just want to make sure that I have my finances really, really structured out so that I can plan my life and plan my everything based on budget. So that's one of the things. And I think it's also very, very important we learn financial education. Is one of those stuff. So you can also work as a freelancer. If you suck at having a very good financial education, whatever it is you make online, you will still end up using it the ways you don't want. So it's very, very important that we have financial education, that we know how to use our finances, how to budget and how to plan everything. So that's one of the reasons I really think I needed to move to a full-time role. And then let me just walk you through some of the process. So the first thing what I did is I already have experience working as a freelancer. I already have my samples, you know, working over the years. I started back 2013. So I already have enough samples and experiences along the line. So I just have to, what I did is I just have to it to my and make sure that I resume, an online resume, a live resume, not just the one that is already written. This is just like a live resume that people can actually see you for who you are. So, and it's also about just controlling the narrative to be in your favor. So I tell people that we are all storytellers. It just depends on how you tell your story. So if you tell me you are a photographer, how do I know you're a photographer? How do you tell me your story to convince me that I need to give you my wedding to be the one to snap my photo for me? Or how do people know you to be a photographer so that they can refer you to me that, okay, come and meet Steven. He's planning his wedding. You'll be the one to do the photography for him. So it's just about knowing how to control the narrative to your own advantage. So that's one of the first things I did when I was using LinkedIn. After I created my profile, which is very, very important that we all do, we also have to understand that there are ways you can actually structure your profile and make you come out in search engines and make you visible enough for recruiters and companies and people that really, really need your service. And that's one of the things that we also need to talk about is as Nigerians, I don't want to say we are lazy, but most times Nigerian youths, especially this our generation, we don't want to do the hard work, even the most of them. So when people are doing CV for you, you don't have, sorry, NEPA, for you and other stuff. How do you tell me, how do you convince people that you really, really know what you're doing? You are really, really good at what you say. If you can't really draft your own CV, you can't write your own CV yourself, and you need to depend on someone to write it for you. I think that's a very, very, very bad attitude. For you to go to university for 4 years and you can't defend what people complain about using LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very, very hard. Don't get into sometimes like, do you even have a CV? Are you sure you are the one that did this CV yourself or someone wrote it for you, paid someone to do all this stuff for you? So we have to learn to do the hard work and learn to tailor our CV to what we really want. So we have to understand that what do you want? What do you want? Then you have to pick an age. So just pick age. After, so when you pick, so when so once you pick an age, so once you pick an age, you have to learn to make sure that your CV or your online profile is tailored towards that niche or that career path you chose. So when I wanted to move into this full-time role, I've worked as a freelancer, I've worked across different sectors and different brands across the sector, digital sector, name it, medical, housing, real estate. Sorry, is the internet. All right. So I've worked across different sectors and different fields, and I was like, now this time around, I want to work as a full-time role. I want to get hired as a full-time employer. What do I need to do? I go back to my profile and I have to reedit everything. I have a tagline, simple as it should be: crypto writer, social media manager. So when you're searching for social media, when you, as a recruiter, as a company, when you're searching for social media manager, my name pops out on the screen. Some people with their bio, you see them having like 4 or 5 taglines: crypto writer, content developer, customer service manager. We have like 4 or 5 taglines. I think that is just too much. You can just simplify just 1 or 2. Just have 1 or 2 tagline. It's very, very, it's important to have a simplified tagline. And then you have a bio. actually one of the nations of 13 writing. My bio talked about, because I wanted to move into to the block. I wanted to move into the blockchain ecosystem. I wanted to move into crypto. So I need to talk involved in the crypto space. I can't say I want to be a crypto writer or an analyst, and I don't have at least 2 years experience or 3 years experience working as an analyst or learning about the job. So while I started my career as at 2013, because I wanted to move into the blockchain industry, I have to control the narrative, and I have to tailor my my CV and my profile to show that this is where I really focus my time on. So I said I started my journey into blockchain as at 2018, whereas I already learned about it in 2013. But I just have to control everything to show that in this blockchain industry, I got into this space as at 2018, and then from then onward, my career moved on. So I said I was involved in 2018 when one of my clients sent me my payments through Bitcoin, and from then onward, I became a crypto evangelist. And the thing is that you want to convince people that you're really good at what you do. You understand this, you understand the concept, you understand this market, you understand this space. So you have to show them that you're really, really good at what you do. You have to show them that you understand this space that you are planning to get into. So you try as much as possible to make sure that you give them, you're selling yourself just like a marketer. You're selling yourself. You are the product that you're selling to your potential employer. So you must make sure you sell yourself very well. You must be convincing enough for them to be like, wow, we believe in what you say. We trust you. Thumbs up, So that's what I did. I just have to control the narrative and show that, see, this crypto space, I got into it in 2018 because I really wanted to start my career as a freelance, as a blockchain enthusiast. And from 2018 my friends, I've been an evangelist of space, and this is where I am. So after I did my bio and everything, I just had to tailor it. If you look at my experience, I put everything I did under Upwork because I don't really have the experience. I've not worked with big companies, and I don't have the name for myself. As a freelancer, that's one of the things you should actually fight for. If you're working as a money, we're not concerned about the name. So a lot of stuff that I've done across the industry, I don't have my name to it. I have those articles as ghost written articles. Not that I have the value. So when I write it, I transfer it to the company or to the clients, and then the person decides to use it, whatever names it is, it thinks it's fit for it. So I don't really have the authority of those articles. So even while I say I'm a writer, I can't really show people the evidence of the stuff that I've written because I don't really have the name for those articles. So I just have to put everything down on the work, and then from there what I started. And then there's one thing we also talk about. Like I said, you can't say you are a photographer and you don't have you don't have a social media platform. You can't see samples of works, and from that, you must show people that you are really involved in that space you've chosen. So while I said as a blockchain, I started talking about blockchain in every of the stuff I do. Therefore, too, probably when I see that the market is going in my favor or not, or probably when I saw that it's going bullish or the bearish way, sometimes I write about it. Sometimes I can just, I go to Twitter, Facebook, Quora, I follow the discussions, and when I see people talking about all those stuff, I just pick up their discussions and then just chop it and add my own to it, edit it, and then I have it as another article, as another paragraph, just my own eye on those search engines. And from then I was getting a whole lot of responses and then contribution and people reaching out to me. Like this guy right now, I will show you this person right now. Okay, let me start with this guy. So we talked about working for him, I think, as a community manager. So we have a lot of stuff you can do online. Digital space is so big. There are people that do community management. It's just that they just manage people's social media for them, just like the Telegram group. and Discord channel. So they just manage it. So I applied for community manager at these companies. It's in Indian, and then we talk about the payment. And this guy, what did he plan? Okay, he said he's going to pay 308, which I refused because I think it's just too low for the kind of road he's planning to give me. Well, 380 to 430, like around 1,000 for a month, just sitting in the corner room and just pressing phone. I just felt that it's too low for me. And based on the years of experience I have, I'm not sure I would want to take something from it. I think it's sounding racist. So I just can't work with that kind of person. So you can see I just muted him. I didn't respond to any of his discussions again. There's also this lady. Okay, to me from Ina, wanted to work. Some my just like to reach out to see if you're interested. So you just have to understand that you have to really tailor your profile to what recruiters and people want to see. Once you have that profile that is tailored and you're active in that space, you're talking about it, they will reach out to you. Recruiters will reach out to you. You can say, wanted to reach out to see if you're interested in hearing more about the role I'm recruiting for. So we talk about it, left it there. That's one of them. This is also a recruiter. She reached out to me for another role. So what profile set up, like it should be professionally, you should get people reaching out to you. This is Sana. She's also a recruiter, EdTech contact. I'm trying to open her messages. She connected with me and she was asking me if I'm ready to get one of those gigs that she's looking for. And this also a person, I think that was okay, October 12th. Another company, October 12th. Hi, I hope you're listening. My name is Raj and I'm a recruiter at the blockchain company. We are recruiting for a social media engineer specialist to join an existing group team. And your background looks good. Are you considering a new contract role? So why people think that there are no jobs? There are actually jobs, but are you qualified for those job positions that are available? So what companies do is that they just poach people. They don't really have to go through the stress of looking for new members or new workers to employ. They just look for people that are already in that field and then they start poaching them. So to be sincere, I was very impressed with this job role, and I was at a point considering moving there because their benefit, look at it, flexible work patterns, 40 hours a week, remote working anywhere, access to high-tech software. So that means they are going to pay me for all my software. I'm going to get my MacBook. So obviously my current company, they bought me a laptop. I have most of the gadgets I needed, but this one's they are planning to give me everything I need. Expensive gadgets. So I'm getting a 2021 MacBook, my headset, and everything. I'll probably get my 401k for my visual and my data and my launch pay. It's also part of the package. Access to high-tech software paid for by energy, receive payments in Bitcoin. You can still continue to work on other projects. This is one of the things that really moved me to liking this company. Like, wow, so I can still work with you full-time and I can still work freelance, or I can still do part-time work for other companies. So wow, you see, so they reached out to me themselves. So, and it's very common in the space when you're good at what you do and then people see you, people notice you. You're talking about that skill, people really want to get involved, want to know about you. So he reached out to me and we have a discussion, we talk about it going forward. I don't want to know. I'm not sure, probably I'll leave my current role, but they have nice pay. This is another lady, so Arifa Raj. She reached out to me, but I think, okay, this is just Tuesday, last week Tuesday. All right, okay. All right, okay, you can see the message. I'm looking for a content writer for blockchain projects 99. It's a decentralized VPN. So we talk about it. Those are the part-time and the side gigs that comes along with working remotely. So we have a whole lot of opportunities that are online. You can access working as working online. So also this is from two that my brother sent to me. Okay. I hope everybody can see it. We were just talking and they sent me this on WhatsApp. I'm not meeting an offer today from Australia. Operations management, $3,800 million per month, like $2,500, you know, not just writing as an operation management. Imagine from Nigeria. She said she's experienced. She are currently running operations for a law firm. We're in PA together. I want to show you the other message. Just so that this is very, very big. You can ask, you don't really have to be a writer or a developer before you can access this space and work in it. You can work on anything as long as it has digital. And she said she was ready. I told her if it was going to put in the work, everywhere goes soft. And she did put in the work. Our current job was 250K Naira. Imagine someone earning 350K. That's actually big for Nigerians, but you can actually earn more, even 350K for a Nigerian firm. It's good for Nigerians, but you can earn more when you access this internet space. And then moving from 350,000 Naira job role to getting a gig of like 3.5 million a month. Just doing this thing, and you don't have to go to the office, you don't have to be stressed, going through traffic, moving up and down, just sit in the corner of your room and then you work. So these are convincing testimonies of people that we've seen that have been able to manage the space. So there are a lot of skills. I just want to briefly share those skills. Okay. What I tell people, so when you want to pick up a skill, what you have to do is once you know, you have to understand you have to understand this, what you are really, really good at and what you really want to do. So when you have a skill, just go to Google. Let's say it's a graphic designer. You want to be a graphic designer, just type graphic designer roadmap 2021. Okay, so if it's sorry, it's my net. I have two internet in the house, and most times that's one of the things I have to struggle with. So you can just look for it, graphic designer roadmap 2021. You have people have actually written stuff about that roadmap. Just look at it and then you can follow the step and the process that the person is talking about. So if it's a customer care representative, you see customer care representative roadmap 2021. So that's also how to go about it. So you just have to pick that skill and then research on it online, looking for the roadmaps on how to go about it, how to develop yourself, and how to go about it, and how to learn that skill. So we have loads of roadmaps for any skill you want to pick online. Just pick up the skill, look for the roadmap online, and then we have a lot of resources that can help you get started with it. And then from there, you can pick up your career and then get to that space where you also earn your money in hard-earned currency. So that is what I have for you this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you for your time. This is Joshua Edele, connecting with every one of us. It's nice having every one of us here, and it's nice presentation, Stephen. So it's time for us to start asking our questions. I both for the scholarship and also for the getting international jobs online. But we already have a question. I think that is for Stephen, asking, can you talk more about the feasibility of getting job gigs online aside from LinkedIn?
All right. Okay.
And
So
he said you can drop the link. So can you answer that very briefly? And I also would like to confirm if Mr. Victor Abegunde is still online. Thank you. Stephen, please,
online.
briefly. Okay, Stephen, please, briefly.
all right. So you can use Upwork. Upwork is also it's an online marketplace you can access for any kind of skill, digital skills. It's there. You can access Upwork. We have Pro Blogger. Okay, I'm trying to write it on the chat channel. We have the Upwork, we have the Pro Blogger, we have Craigslist, we have Glassdoor, there is Indoor, you know, all those online sites, marketplace for digital skills are very good space about LinkedIn, but you can access every other. You can research it online, check it out online, marketplace for digital skills, where you can get paid for it, and then you can access it. Because I work with LinkedIn does not mean everybody should have to go through LinkedIn. There are others marketplace, and there are a lot of online bots you can use to get jobs done online. It's not just about LinkedIn. I hope I answered the question. Okay, the roadmap also. Talking about the roadmap, I'm talking, when I said roadmap, I mean how to go about being an authority in that field. You know, if you say you want to be a photographer, you have to go through the process of learning that photography. So when you pick up a digital skill, you have to, there is a roadmap that someone has talked about on how to go about how you able to navigate what you wanted to be just within probably 6 months or 9 months. Why I said roadmap is that if you just go online to just search for yourself and then you just go to YouTube to pick videos to watch, you can easily lose motivation. Sometimes you might not get what you really need to get. But roadmaps will help you to start from the very scratch, from the beginning. You know, like the foundation is just like a building block. So by first month, you know, this is what I'm doing. After you're done doing the first month, you know that this second month I'm moving into another topic or another space entirely. So the roadmap will actually help you to tailor your career, your skill that you want to learn, so that you can get the old concept, the old grasp of the skill. It's not just about learning a skill, it's just about understanding that skill in details. You have to understand it from the scratch. Just like talking about colors, even for a graphic designer, at least you spend like 2 months to learn about colors. I've seen people spend more than a year learning about colors before they can actually say they want to go into graphic designing, because you know it has to do with a lot of visual representation. So that's why I'm saying that you just have to have a roadmap so that you can follow the roadmap and then you can work towards it. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there any other question you want him to answer? Okay, bro, Victor, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, sir. Please, well, I would like you to drop the links to access scholarships on the chat so everybody can have access to it.
Okay.
Let me check if there are other questions. Okay. Okay. Can you share the thoughts on links and scholarship platforms that are readily available to Nigeria? Okay. I think that's the only question. The other one has been addressed by Steven.
I think someone is also raising his hand.
Okay. Let the person talk so we can. Bro Dimeji, over to you.
Thank you so much, everybody. About the list that Stephen was talking about of those sites, apart from LinkedIn, but I guess somebody has asked it again. So I would enjoin you to please give us the list of the job sites. Thank you.
Okay, the question that we also have, can you share your thoughts on links and scholarship platforms that are readily available to Nigeria? Bro Victor, over to you.
Okay. Sorry, I was already working on, pasting the links, but it's fine. When I was talking, actually, I talked about Commonwealth Scholarship. Commonwealth Scholarship is available for Nigerians. TWAS scholarship. In fact, maybe we don't, once you Google the names of these scholarship providers, definitely they will pop up and you can just go into their, what is it called? Go into their site, get information, review, then go ahead with your application. So there's Commonwealth Scholarship, there's Erasmus Mundus. Erasmus Mundus is a beautiful scholarship to Europe. There's TWAS. TWAS is provided by the World Academy of Science, and they do it in partnership with different countries. They can do this. They have partnership with South Africa. They have partnership with India. They have partnership with Malaysia. There is okay, I've talked about Erasmus Mundus. Then there is DAD. DAD is German based. So many of these scholarships, then at times you may not even need to wait for links. You can just Google and scholarships for developing countries. Nigeria is already included like that. And hardly will you see any scholarship for any developing country and Nigeria will be exempted. Hardly. There was a time, I think there was this challenge that, yes, they felt Nigerians are winning too much scholarship. I think that was, which scholarship was that? They had to remove Nigeria from the list. They couldn't survive it. They had to push it back because many of these scholarship providers too, they lean on fundings and all that. And results, I've seen that it's not only that Nigerians just come, yes, like we see, many people use academics as a route, for migration and all that. That's true. But the truth is, Nigerians are very productive when it comes to many of these scholarships. So just once you search, depending on your field, just Google them, you see them pop up. But like I said while I was talking, I would also want to encourage that you just don't jump at them. You can get a list of these scholarship opportunities and do a review and compare, look at their requirements, look at their objective, consider where you stand a better chance, where you have a comparative advantage, then yeah, you can now conclude on the ones you want to apply for. Now I'm seeing a question that is popping up and saying, how do you recognize scholarship scams? Now, how to recognize scholarship scams? First, I would say the best way to do that is to be careful in your review. The way requests are made, you will, if you are careful enough, you will be able to decipher which one is genuine. There are some that are, they are standard. They've already made the names, except maybe they are trying to clone their names and appear like, how do I put it? I'm trying to use, which word am I looking for now? They are trying to pretend, like, for example, like some people are trying to come to you as if they are the Commonwealth body. I remember there was a friend of mine that was sent an email like that he got a job with FAO. It was a very sad story. They really dealt with him, but when you are careful, that's where the importance of preparing in advance, taking your time to review. And please, I hope I'm not stretching this too much, but I also want to raise, there are times that it's normal. I understand. We'll just get fed up. You are just fed up of maybe the country where you are. You just want to get out. That kind of a thing, and you're just looking for opportunities. That may make you very vulnerable. As much as, yes, work on that, use it as a motivation to push your effort, but please take your time to review. You understand? Take your time to do your review. If you're careful enough, you will identify them. You will identify those ones that are scam. Then right. I will say, yeah, okay.
No, please round up. We just want to be able to take one or two more questions.
Okay. Then someone said, hello, Victor, what are your thoughts on using the services of travel agents.
Okay, hold on that thought so that we don't go. So let me quickly add also, I just want to contribute a little bit, like 1 minute. So one of the ways that are also important to get a scholarship sometimes is, I know if you agree with me, is also to directly write university professors.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's one of the skills that is very important. If you have a good research project that you think you can work on, you can use Google. Like I had always believed, Google is your friend. You can search for professors in Canada, in US that are doing exactly what you are doing, and then you shoot them an email. Now, you don't expect all of them to respond, but at least if you have an interesting project, I believe that also can be of help. So maybe you can continue on the other question briefly as we move towards rounding off.
Okay. Thanks, Joshua. Hello, Victor. What are your thoughts on using the services of travel agents in your search for admissions and scholarships abroad? Hi, this is a beautiful question, but I will, let me put it this way. This is my opinion. Most times when I'm asked this question, what I say is, as long as you are learning, which I know you are, you don't really need travel agents. That's just the truth. And why I say that is this: I've come to discover that many of the things that these guys claim to do are what you can do by yourself. Most times, why we tend to think we need them is because we are overwhelmed. That's just the truth. There's no magic they can do. That's the truth. There's no magic they can do. Well, maybe their experience over the years can come in handy. They can help you with, how do I put it now? They can give you some guidance and all that. But there are some writings they can't do for you. You will still be the one to write some things. Some they can go as far as, yes, we will help you write, we will help you do this. But we know how it works when it comes to doing business with some things. Anybody that is doing business is out there to maximize profits. That's just the truth, you understand? And when it comes to maximizing profits, to you, I am data, like I'm statistics. I'm just part of your customer. There's no extra commitment to my pulling through. So there's no commitment you can put in more than I will put into my effort myself. So my point, I encourage you going through your application by yourself. Seek for help. You will always get help. That's just the truth. But many of these travel agents, well, I'm not saying they don't come in useful, but I will always suggest that many times what they do is what you can do for yourself or by yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, Victor. Let's search if there are other questions. Someone asked, how exactly do you get, okay, I think bro Steven, how exactly do you get those LinkedIn jobs? Over to you, bro Steven. And how do you recognize scam in scholarship pursuits? So, bro Steven, deal with the first question while bro Victor round up.
Okay, like just like bro Victor said, there is no one way to go about getting jobs on LinkedIn. You just have to do the work. You just have to. There are a lot of hacks that works for different people. I have one of my friends. What he did is that he how do I say it? Okay, he looks for all those companies, those big companies that he really wants to work with, and he looks for their CMO and the managers, or probably the CEO or the HR of that company, and then he connects with them on LinkedIn. And so he developed this kind of relationship with them, start chatting them up, sending them messages, and asking them that he wants to work with them or works with them. And sometimes they ask him to send some of the samples, and that's how he did his own. So sometimes I think he told me sometimes they can send up to like 50 connects in a day, reaching out to different companies, their CEO, their managers, their HRs, and all those stuff. probably sometimes it gets only 10 or 5 responses, and it's just like a funnel. So out of the 5 or 10 responses, probably 2 will reply, and probably out of the 2 that reply, probably 1 will ask him to send his CV or send his samples. So that's one way. What I did in my own part is just like I said, I already have a structured and tailored my online profile. That is my LinkedIn profile to look presentable, and I did all those stuff. And I was actually actively posting. I was talking about crypto and blockchain space. I was writing about the market. I was writing about scams. I was writing about every topic that comes to my mind. I just research it. It might be a sentence. It might be a paragraph. Sometimes it can also be like an article, just like 500 words. I post it on my Medium page, and then I send the link to LinkedIn, or sometimes just commenting on people's stuffs as well. And then I make use of hashtag. Hashtag is very, very powerful in this our digital space right now. So when I talk about finance, when I'm talking about, probably let's say I'm talking about investing, so I use hashtag investing, finance, crypto, stuff like that. So hashtag is also another way to rank higher on those search engines. And then there are a lot of job openings on LinkedIn, so you can also apply directly to those companies. You just send them your CV, and then you send them a cover letter. But I think it's very, very good when you're actively promoting yourself and talking about that space and using those hashtags. It makes you rank better and higher on those search engines. So when recruiters or companies are looking for experts in that field, your name pops up probably in the first 10 or the first 20, and then probably when they go to your resume, and then they can decide to send you a message or stuff like that. So that's one of the ways. There's no one way to it. You just have to look for how it works for you. Connect with people, reach out to people, and then send messages, and then just be active, just be active. And that's how we keep doing. The whole thing is just to make sure that you have a very, very nice and impressive profile online that people will be impressed to look at. That's it.
All right, thank you, Stephen.
Okay,
Victor.
Okay, sorry, I just while talking about identifying scholarship providers that are actually scams, I don't want to give just a vague answer, so I want to sorry, I didn't know my video was off. Okay, yeah, I want to talk about when you're putting in your application. Hardly will you see many of these scholarship providers that are genuine asking you for some money. You, of course, scholarship application requires funding. You will need to put in some money, make your application, but it will be maybe through writing exams, maybe the school you're applying to, the application fee, but mails like telling you to send an amount, some, an amount is, how do I put it now? A sum, an amount of money or this and that. You need to send this before we can do this and all that. Now that's a red flag, So we really, really need to because these guys, they know that what they are trying to do is to empower students. So they will not want to drain you and because if you have the money, why are you applying in the first place? So I go and look for a huge sum of money and send it, because you need to do that before you can apply, before you can do this and that. Then we really need to look at the quality of the process as well. Let's not be too, because we are under pressure and it's so slippery, it's looking like it's too good. I had that experience, although this was not for scholarship. This one was actually for a conference meeting. I really, really wanted a paper presented. You understand? I really wanted to tick that box. Like, yes, I have presented this. So I sent the abstract, and it was fast, so fast. It was sent to me. I was so happy. Yes, I'm becoming a don't know. This thing did not even take long and all that. Now, I just told my friend, he's a senior colleague. Actually, we're out of the country that times, but he lectures at home. So I just told him, I said, I got this thing, I'm going to present. I was so excited about it. But thank God he was not, how do I put it? He was not too extra careful. Like, I don't want to puncture this guy's excitement. Just said, Victor, are you sure this thing is genuine? These people they are predatory conference at this. I said, no, it can't be, and all that. So eventually, I just sat down and I felt like, wait, truly the mail I got was in the spam folder. You understand? So he said, I should double check. Eventually, I called another senior friend of mine in another school, and he told me, please don't even go. Me, I've gone like that. Mo, he said it in Yoruba, Moti Larimo, please don't Larimo, you know, that kind of a thing. So another thing is, maybe we should not keep to ourselves. If we have friends that we have like minds, that, you know, we are doing that, we have that kind of objectives together, let's share our thoughts. This thing, what do you say about it? That's another way of exposing them. It also helps.
All right. Thank you, Victor. We have exceeded more than we planned for. So we would like to take some other question, but the time is not allowing us to do that now. So the question I'm saying that was not treated here: what are your thoughts on using service of travel agents in your search for admission and scholarship abroad? So I don't know if Victor can help us quickly shed more light on that.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. I think I've answered that. What I said that was that as long as you're learned, which we are all learned, you understand, I believe you don't really need them, that you don't really need them much.
For those that are interested.
You said
there'll be a WhatsApp group. I said there will be a WhatsApp group created for those that are interested in remote jobs and scholarship.
Okay.
So I want to say a big thank you to everyone that stayed to the end. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much. Our facilitator, thank you, Victor. Thank you, Steven.